In this documentary, we set out to find what happened to the Waveski by following the highest ranked brand and team of its time, Waveski's.
Surf, I paddled out there and there was some guy on a wave ski up there just ripping the place apart, doing helicopter spins, cutbacks, backward cutbacks, doing just amazing stuff. My ski was immediately obsolete. So immediately, even though I'd had my ski only 2 days, I went to see Hayden Kenny, ordered a ski off him. Unfortunately, that ski didn't have a stringer, it was just solid foam and glass. And the seatbelt put tremendous stresses on the ski when you wipe out, and without a stringer I only had the ski about 6 weeks and it broke in half. So I decided to make one myself. So I set up a little workshop in a cellar behind where I lived and got some foam and made a ski, and that was the start of Waveski.
I saw this fuzzy-headed man out in the surf at Manly on a strange looking thing that looked like a really narrow kayak, but he was sitting on top of it with a seat belt and he was pulling into these massive big barrels. And I remember saying hello to him, and anyway, a couple of months later I thought I might get one of those because it looks like it'd be good cross training for canoeing. I had a look in the newspaper and found out where you could buy them, and went down to Campbell Parade in Manlyvale, and sure enough the same fellow I'd seen in the surf was Roger Shackleton, who was making his own skis at the time, and managed to convince him to sell me this fairly cheap second-hand one, and that's how I got started on the wave skis.
I met John Christensen as well as Michael Petrie. John was only about 18. He was an amazing talent. He was just a natural water boy. And immediately John was just head and shoulders above everybody else. He just had so much energy. And he was so interested in the technique of actually what he did. He could dissect movements.
Raider sent me to far reaches of the world with Japan, Hawaii, America, England. So it was a pretty good lifestyle, just surfing and doing a little bit of work in the factory here and there. A lot of travelling. It allowed me to sort of save enough money to buy a home unit at the time, when they were affordable. So yeah, it was a great lifestyle.
It became a real anger between surfers and wave ski people, and it did become a real problem for quite a long time. The more skis that got out there, the more green ski riders that got out there, the more surfers hated them.
The surf is very tribal. You've got your shortboard riders, you've got your mal riders, you've got your boogie board riders, and then you've got anyone else on any other sort of surf craft. So wave skiing was never really accepted as a mainstream sport.
The business had really serious cash flow problems. You'd sell everything you could make in summer, but you'd have to save that money and use it to buy materials and pay labour making stock during the winter.
What really hurt it was the fact that we had no juniors. All the kids that potentially might have gotten into wave skiing, because it was maybe seen as a slightly easier alternative to surfing, took up boogie boarding. And then conversely, the older guys that had maybe gotten onto wave skis because they couldn't shortboard anymore were suddenly getting back onto longboarding. Longboarding made a huge re-emergence at the time. And that all happened around the sort of early to mid-90s, and by the end of the 90s, wave skiing had dropped away considerably, and I think that was the cause of its demise.
Lack of advertising and lack of promotion started to see the beginning of the end for wave skis.